Hi everyone, today's video is really exciting, and as you can tell from the title, I am starting something brand new that I've actually never done on my channel before, but I really enjoy watching other people, so I decided I'm going to jump on the bandwagon this year, and I'm going to do a pan that palette. Now, I did a lot of debating about which palette to choose. Y'all already see in the title, it is the Lorac Tale as Old as Time palette. This is the palette I chose, and I'll tell you why. This is not a very old palette. I did get it this year. Let's see. It says it doesn't even say the expiration like they usually do. Huh, interesting. But either way, I got it this year, so it's really not that old. But this is what I wanted to do. My first thing was, I was like, I want to find a palette that I've already gotten some use out of. So maybe that already has a shadow out. Well, I only have 2 eyeshadow palettes of my very large eyeshadow palette collection that already have an eyeshadow missing. One of which is already being panned. And I don't like to pan multiple shades from the same item at one time. It's kind of like double dipping and cheating to me. So I didn't want to do that palette. The other palette is my Lorac Pro 2 palette. And I was like, well, this one is a possibility. But it's so small and narrow. And my palette drawer is overflowing, literally. So I was like, well, let me do one that has a lot of packaging. So I was like, well, let me go and see the ones that I've only hit pan on. And this one I have hit pan on one of the shades. There are 16 shades here. And you can see I hit pan on the shade Beast Mode in my 25 Days of Christmas Project pan. So I was like, well, this one's got pan. It does have really bulky packaging. Considering, it's beautiful packaging, I do love it, but considering the amount of product you get in it, it's really bulky. Each product is less than a gram. So I was like, well, there you go. And I also know that Lorac shadows are relatively easy to pan from what I've seen. You know, I have hit pan on this. It didn't take me that much work at all. And so like, well, maybe I could actually get through this entire palette quicker than if I was to do something that's more hard pressed. So for all of those reasons, I did go ahead and choose this. Also, it is a Disney palette. And if you watch me, you know I love Disney. And I figured panning a Disney palette, though it'll mean it'll be out of my collection, will bring me more joy than panning like a non-themed palette, because I love a theme. And on top of all that, I have done a full review of this palette, so I'll link that below in case you want to see it. But I feel like this palette isn't the most unique as far as the shade range. It's pretty. I like the shades, but they're not something that if I lost this palette, if I used it all up, I would really miss, because I feel like I've got all of this somewhere else, if that makes sense. So, as I said, there are 16 shades. Dream It, I do have on my eyelid today as my inner corner. You can see that both Dream It and the shade Enchantress already have some navy in it because of this shade, and there's so much kick up. So I'm trying to be better about that, because this is kind of a light blue, and so it's not too bad on the lid. We've got Timekeeper. I don't have that on today, but that'll be a beautiful lid shade. Our Guess, I think, will be a great crease shade. Again, I'm not using that today. I did use the shade Empress today just to play with it, and I did go ahead and put it in my eyebrows. I was like, well, let's see what it does. I don't like it. Beast Mode is a beautiful navy. It's great for the outer crease, and as you can see, there is already pan in it. Enchantress is this beautiful kind of goldy with a little bit of pink duochrome shade. Great for the lid. This shade, Swept Up, I think that's going to be great for a liner. And, you know, if I really want to deepen up that outer V. This shade, Look Behind, will be great for a transition. My Castle will be a nice lid shade. Chip In will be brow bone and kind of under my eyes, like I usually do these kind of shades. This is a little more yellow than I usually go for, but I'm liking it. I have it today. Romance I have on today as my outer V, and I really enjoy this shade. It's really pretty, and it's great for that, I think. Spellbreaker I have under my lower lash line. It'll be, you know, a nice darkening shade. Inner Beauty, it's going to be hard to use. I can already tell. I think it's going to be a lid shade. Maybe I can use it as a brow bone. I think it's probably going to be too pink, but I can try that. The shade Tea Time is what I have on my lid today. It's beautiful, like, kind of silver taupey shade. I have the shade TikTok as my transition today, and Real You is a beautiful shade in the pan, but on the lids, it's really chunky. So it'll definitely be a lid shade, but it'll be a little hard to use. So I do feel like I have a use for all 16 of these shades. Like I said, I feel like because they are so powdery, I'll get through them a little quicker than maybe something else, which I do want to get through this palette. That's the whole point of doing a pan that palette. And it's a beautiful selection of shades. It really is, and I do like it. It's not my absolute favorite palette. So like I said, I don't think I'll miss it too much. So here it is at the beginning, with the exception of Beast Mode. It seems like a lot of these are pretty new. Not really any dents or anything. This Enchantress shade does have a little bit of a dent, but we've got a lot of work to do. I am going to be updating y'all on this the 15th of every single month. So today is January 15th, and I'll keep going. Now, I know that Pan That Palette is generally a yearly project. I'm not going to do it that way. If I could finish this up in a year, that would be amazing. I would really like that. But I'm afraid that if it's like January, like let's say it's December 15th, and I'm doing my update, and I'm like, okay, I have a little bit of like these 6 shadows left. I'm not going to finish them all. Then I don't want to put this back in my collection. I want to keep using this until it's all gone. So I'm going to keep going until it's all gone. Now, if I happen to finish it up in October, awesome. The next month, the next update, I will be doing a new palette. So it's going to be kind of a rolling Pan That Palette for the foreseeable future. I do feel like I can get a lot of use out of this. I also wanted to choose something that I don't feel like this is a complete palette. I do, as far as like I can get a complete look out of it. Like today, I just used that, but I would get bored, so I can definitely pull in my other palettes and use them for like more color and stuff, and that'll be really nice, I think. So I'm not neglecting everything else I own just to pan this palette, especially for like my rolling makeup collection project pan. I'll link my most recent update of that down below in case you want to see it. But with that, I'm pulling in products all the time. So I can still use those products and this. So it's a really nice palette. I'm really excited about it, and I feel like this is a really doable goal. We'll see. I forgot to weigh it. So if you want to see the weight of it as of right now, I will link it below, list it below. And yeah, if you want to see real, like more up-to-date usage, definitely follow me on Instagram. Whenever I hit pan, I'll hit that on Instagram. As I said, we've got pan on this shade. Nothing else has pan. Also, I am doing other project pans, other like seasonal projects as well. Like I said, I'll just link that whole playlist down below. That'll probably be the easiest in case so you can see what you want to see. But I'm already panning a shimmery white for my 17 by St. Pat's. I'm panning a matte white for my Snow White, no, it's Cinderella, but it's the 14 by Valentine's Day project pan. So some of these shades might not get as much use. I also wanted to mention that I think it's really important for me to pan that palette because so many of my things get neglected. It's just the truth. And if you follow me, then you know whenever I do an update for like a project pan or for this Pan That Palette, which I haven't done before, but you know, I make sure to really use only these items, which will be cool because it'll mean that I don't foresee this happening. So like if you're like, girl, that's not gonna fly. But like, even if I don't use this palette for an entire month, at least I'll get a use out of it every single month, which is good and more than I would normally. I also finally, I know I keep saying that, but the final thing I wanted to say is I don't want to double duty these shadows. I don't want to do that. And I'll tell you why. Yes, this could be a highlighter. This could be a highlighter. Maybe a blush. Could maybe contour with that. I could definitely double dip in some of these shadows. I'm there. I agree with you. Here's the thing though. I just posted my makeup inventory. I'll link it below in case you want to see. I think I had like 80 blushes, something like that. So using this shadow as a blush, yeah, it would mean that I used up that shadow, but it means that I'm neglecting all my blushes. I don't want to do that. I could use up this as a highlighter, but again, then I'm neglecting all my highlighters. So since I have so much of every single item, to me, focusing in and just using this and trying to double duty this, yeah, it'll mean that I get through this a lot more, but faster, but it'll mean I'm neglecting the things that are actually supposed to be used for that. Like I said, I've said that before, the only exception for that will probably be like eyebrows. Again, neither one of these shades really work in the eyebrow for me. They're both too warm. But besides that, I want to make sure I'm using eyeshadow for eyeshadow, contour for contour. And now, I don't see this happening, but if, you know, somewhere down the line I don't have as much of all the cheek products, then maybe I can double duty. But for now, I just don't want to do that. So I feel like I said everything I wanted to say. I think I did. I'll probably finish filming and be like, shoot, I should have said 74 other things. But for now, I think we're good. So as always, please leave any questions, requests, suggestions, comments down below. I would love to hear what you think about this. I hope you're excited about this Pan That Palette. I'm really excited about it. I think it's a doable feat. And I'm hoping I can get through it within this year, but we'll just see what happens. So, like I said, any questions or comments, if you want to see me do something, let me know. I want to make videos you want to see, so if there's something you're like, girl, I would really like to see you do something, I don't know, whatever you can think of, go ahead and leave it down below. I'll be happy to do that at some point. I have a list going right now of items or videos that y'all have requested. They're not being ignored. I just have a lot of videos right now. But that's okay. That's why I post so much. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see y'all real soon. Bye.